In this video, we're finally gonna break down Pulchra. As a free A rank agent coming out in the 1.6 patch of Zenless Zone Zero, she's got a lot going for her. She's very easy to use, fun to play, and packs a powerful punch all in the same package. We'll be breaking down her full kit and skills, team synergies, and of course, the best way to build her. Sit back, relax, and let's do this. As a reminder, all of the content in this video is from the creator beta server of Zenless Zone Zero. As such, some results, information, and values might change for the full release, although pretty minor. Thank you again to Hoyoverse for granting early access, and let's talk about Pulchra. I don't know why, but every time Hoyoverse releases a Thiren character, they absolutely cook. And I'm not just saying that because she's my next waifu. Pulchra is our upcoming A-rank physical stun unit hailing from the Sons of Calydon. She is very unique in the fact that she features an off-field stun style. Her core mechanics are very strong and easy to use, and she focuses on three important concepts. Let's first discuss the most important thing about the entire patch of characters, Aftershock. Indeed, all three characters releasing this patch feature this Aftershock damage. This really breaks down to off-field follow-up attacks. Throughout the video, you'll see Pulchra doing a lot of attacks while your main DPS is on the field. Because of this Aftershock and her other important core mechanics, Pulchra's role is almost entirely off-field. This opens up a huge amount of potential for combo and different rotations and different teams that she can specialize in, especially because she doesn't need to be on the field for long. This is even further enhanced in the Mindscapes section when we talk about Mindscapes 6, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, the next important concept of Pulchra's is the Hunter's Gate state, and I kinda like that name. This is part of the reason why Pulchra's kit is so easy to understand, but yet so powerful. Whenever Pulchra uses EX special attack, assist follow-up, chain attack, or ultimate, she will enter the Hunter Gate state. While in this state, all of her attacks will have increased days. Even more so, when she switches off the field, she'll still be in this Hunter Gate state until she comes back on the field, or you run out of pips, as shown below her character picture here. Even more so, if she doesn't immediately swap off after entering the Hunter Gate, you can land a heavy attack on enemies to trigger a quick assist to the previous character in the team. And you'll see this commonly in that team synergy section, like how Pulchra is almost always after Soldier Zero anby in the team lineup. And for definition's sake, a heavy attack refers to the final hit of a special or EX special that hits an enemy. Basically, Pulchra enters the Hunter's Gate state through those previous skills mentioned, does increased days, and quick assist back to your main DPS to help with some damage and firepower. Pulchra's third concept is called Binding Trap and kinda ties in with the Hunter Gate state. You will apply this trap to the enemy when using that EX special, assist follow-up, chain attack, or ultimate for 15 seconds. Here's where that Aftershock synergy comes in. When any squad member hits an enemy that has Binding Trap with an Aftershock, that Aftershock damage is increased by 30%. In other words, any of the three characters of this patch, Soldier Zero anby, Pulchra, or Trigger, will get a 30% damage boost to their Aftershocks, or follow-up attacks. It goes deeper than this for Trigger and anby, but we'll dive into those a lot more on their full early access guides coming soon, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for those. Now that we know Pulchra's mechanics, let's talk about her full kit breakdown. Usually this part takes a good while to explain all of the intricacies of a kit for different characters, but Pulchra's kit is so simple that this probably will be the shortest section of the video. Pulchra's basic attack, Swift Strike, is very straightforward and will unleash 3 attacks, dealing physical damage. If you hold the button instead, it will be Leaping Strike, which also deals physical damage. For this, I tend to just use basic attack 1, 2, 3, and then hold the button to immediately go into Leaping Strike, although you're not going to be using this move very much. It's the same kind of concept for all of Pulchra's dodges, and they're all pretty much the same as any other character, dealing all physical damage. Special attack Rending Claw will also not see a lot of use, but it will perform a rapid back and forth piercing attack dealing physical damage. Okay, now for the important and good stuff. Special attack Rending Claw Nightmare Shadow. This is what we were talking about with the Hunter's Gate and those pips under her character picture. When any squad member hits an enemy with that heavy attack we talked about, Pulchra will dash back and forth, piercing enemies and dealing physical damage. When using the skill, if another active character in the squad hits an enemy, Pulchra will repeat that follow-up attack 5 times, with the final attack being a more powerful finishing move. And since this is an aftershock attack, you won't actively be using it when she's on the field, it'll just be those follow-ups that we talk about so frequently. When you have enough energy, the regular special attack will just become an EX version called Rending Claw Flash Step, dealing massive physical damage. The only 2 things to note about Pulchra's assists are that she will only be the 5th character in the game to have an evasive assist, and more importantly, her assist follow-up will also trigger the Hunter Gate state. Same kind of thing with her chain attack, it'll enter the Hunter Gate state after it hits. When your decibel rating is at 3000 aka max, you know what time it is. Press Q to activate ultimate. Oh, time to play? Aside from our new waifu giving us a little heart and a wink, she will unleash massive physical damage to a lot of enemies in a large area ahead, while being fully invulnerable. As for the shortened version of using her kit, just make sure you're entering that Hunter Gate state through EX Special, Chain Attack, Ultimate, or Assist Follow-Up, and you will have already mastered Pulchra's easy to follow kit. Her core passives are also really powerful. We've already pretty much talked about core passive Hunter's Instinct. Whenever she uses those moves, she enters the Hunter's Gate state, increasing the days she deals by 30% for 6 seconds. The rest of this text just illustrates that she'll still be in the Hunter's Gate state when she switches out, until she switches back in, and she'll also trigger that quick assist to go back to the previous character in the squad. Additional ability Business Partner will activate when another character in your squad is an attack character or a Son of Calydon. This just states that using any of those important moves we discussed will activate the Binding Trap for 15 seconds, and all units' aftershock damage will increase to the target by 30%. Here are the general skill upgrade suggestions, and honestly, I think this is a very good recommendation, and I would go straight down the list like this. Now that her mechanics, core passives, and kit are out of the way, let's talk about some team synergies. Since Pulchra is our first quick swap off-field stun agent, she's extremely flexible and has lots of team synergies that she can specialize in. She will inherently team up with any attack agent in the game, but her favorite partner will be Soldier Zero anby, especially because of the aftershock mechanic. If you notice this team synergy page, you'll see that I used her in tons of different teams. Ellen Sokaku in an ice team, Juyuin and Nicole on an ether team, Evelyn Astra on a fire team. There really seems to be almost no limit for Pulchra. She'll also be important in double stun team comps, especially when Trigger comes out in the second half. But there's an important caveat here too. As universal as Pulchra already is, when you get Mindscapes 6 behind the mask, she becomes even more of a general support. Remember that 30% damage increase to Aftershock? But with Mindscape 6, that applies to all form of damage, all damage types from any character. What's even better about this is you'll only need to pull Pulchra 5 times, since we're getting a free copy of her from the upcoming event in 1.6. Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the best way to build Pulchra. Starting with the W engines, her best in slot will be her signature engine, Box Cutter. First, this W engine has Impact as the advanced stat, which is Pulchra's best stat. As for the effect of the W engine, when you launch an Aftershock, the equipper's physical damage increases by 24% and days increases by 16% for 10 seconds. Overall, a pretty simple, powerful engine. For S-rank engines, I actually really like Hellfire Gears, which is Calyda's signature. This engine actually works very well with Pulchra's main mechanics. The advanced stat is Impact, the equipper energy regen increase is great for that very important EX special attack, and when she uses the EX special, her impact is increased by 10% for 10 seconds, stacking up to twice. Sadly, I cannot say the same for the A-rank stun W engines. I generally don't think these provide very good benefits and buffs for characters anyway, but they especially don't for Pulchra. I would highly recommend that you save some polychromes to get Box Cutter from the W engine signal search, or at least use Hellfire Gears, because these other ones just will not cut it. Oh wow, that joke was pretty cringe. Anyway, let's move on to her disk drives. As of Zenless Zone Zero's 1.6 patch, we actually get 2 brand new disk drive sets. Pulchra's best in slot 4 piece will be Shadow Harmony. This increases aftershock and dash attack damage by 15%, and when you hit an enemy with either of those, you'll gain 1 stack of a buff, which increases attack by 4% and crit rate by 4%, as long as you match the equipper's attribute. In other words, since this stacks up to 3 times, just think of this as a free 12% attack and crit rate boost when hitting an aftershock or dash attack. Here's a warning though. In the past, our stunners have used 4-piece Shockstar Disco pretty frequently. Do not do this on Pulchra, because she will not get a lot of value from that 4-piece bonus. It is much better to use Shockstar Disco as a 2-piece for her for that impact increase. In fact, her best build will be that Shadow Harmony 4-piece plus Shockstar Disco 2-piece. As for main stats, since her best stat is impact, we can highly focus on damage for Pulchra. Slot 4 should be crit rate or crit damage, slot 5 should be physical damage bonus or attack percent with really good substats, and slot 6 should always be impact no matter what. Substats follow the same priority, crit rate equals crit damage, then attack percent, then pen being equal to attack, then the rest. I usually mention our cute little helper friends, the Bang Boos, at this point in the video. Just make sure to match your Bang Boo in Pulchra Squad to whatever type of damage you're dealing with your main DPS. Since you should absolutely be pulling all 5 copies of Pulchra that are needed, plus the event in 1.6, let's go over her Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 Self-Interest says when dealing damage to enemies affected by Binding Trap, Pulchra's crit rate will increase by 10%. Mindscape 2 increases Pulchra's attack by an additional 10% when in the Hunter's Gate state. Mindscape 4 reduces the energy cost of activating EX Special Attack Flash Step by 5, and the most important is Mindscape 6, Behind the Mask. Special attack Rending Claw Nightmare Shadows damage is increased by 15%, and the number of times that Aftershock can trigger is increased by 2. Additional ability Business Partner's Binding Trap effect now will be all damage types like we talked about before, not just Aftershock. Overall, think of Pulchra as a very short and sweet, powerful character. Her core mechanics focus on her being off the field for most of the time, while still dealing massive daze and pretty decent damage. Plus, what's not to love about another Thiren waifu? But there you have it for a full guide about Pulchra. Let me know what you think about her in the comments below. I would love to hear from you all and discuss Pulchra further. In the meantime, like the video if it helped in any way, and subscribe for those early access Soldier Zero anby and trigger guides coming out very soon. But thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.